Maybe you heard about HDMI ARC and HDMI eARC, and you're wondering, why did they put an E in front of the ARC? What is the difference between HDMI ARC and HDMI eARC? Well, let me tell you. Hi, welcome to Zgadgetreview. So what's the difference between HDMI ARC or HDMI ARC and HDMI eARC or HDMI eARC? Let's get started with what HDMI ARC is and when did it come out. ARC stands for Audio Return Channel. HDMI ARC was added to HDMI 1.4 back in 2009, and the reason it was created was in order to combine both sound and video through the same cable, plus being able to transfer some data. Before this, anytime that you needed sound, you needed a separate cable that allowed you to carry sound from whatever device you were connecting to your TV or your sound system, or I guess sound bar. That meant that you needed to have an extra cable in order to get sound and video, making it kind of an inconvenience. There were plenty of options when it came to sound connections. You had analog sound that had the white and red plug. You also had Toslink and a couple of other options out there. HDMI ARC also allows you to send data signals. This means that when you have a device connected from your, let's say, TV HDMI ARC port to your soundbar HDMI ARC port, when you press the button on the remote that turns the power on and off, it turns the power on and off on both. Or when you raise the volume, it raises the volume on the soundbar as well. So that was the other convenience, the fact that you could technically make use of one remote to control any other device that was connected to the HDMI ARC port. Of course, the sound signals weren't the greatest because of the amount of data that the HDMI port could carry. Back when we had HDMI 1.4, you could only carry up to 10.2 gigabits per second, and then it was bumped to 18 gigabits per second with HDMI 2.0. That meant that you could do compressed 5.1 surround sound and stereo sound, but the sound wasn't the best and it wasn't uncompressed, and also you couldn't do Atmos. So these were some of the limitations with HDMI ARC before it was replaced by HDMI eARC. 10 years later, with the arrival of HDMI 2.1, we also got the new feature called HDMI eARC, otherwise known as HDMI Enhanced Audio Return Channel. HDMI 2.1 bumped the amount of data that you could carry through the port and cable to 48 gigabits per second. This also allowed you to now be able to send sound signals uncompressed of 5.1 surround, 7.1 surround, and the wildly popular Dolby Atmos. That's not all. Lip sync correction became a mandatory feature within eARC. Lip correction means that it will automatically correct for any processor delays to ensure that the audio always matches the video. So if you anytime had those issues where the sound doesn't quite match what you're watching, you wouldn't have to worry about it because that TV or whatever device you're using that uses HDMI 2.1 eARC will make sure that that picture autocorrects so the audio is always in sync. With the HDMI ARC and HDMI 2.1, we got the latest features that are compatible with the newest gaming consoles. Those are ultra low latency, variable refresh rate, and quick frame transport. So how do you know if the device that you have supports HDMI eARC? Well, it is very simple. On the HDMI port, it's going to say it in writing. It's going to say HDMI eARC. Some TVs have multiple ports that support it. Some TVs have one port that supports it. It depends on the brand. It depends on the manufacturer and the type of TV. Another thing that you're going to need is an ultra high speed HDMI 2.1 compatible cable. And that becomes a little trickier because there are a lot of places that sell HDMI cables that tout that are compatible with HDMI 2.1 even if they really aren't, because technically any cable is compatible with HDMI 2.1 unless you want to be able to take advantage of all the features that HDMI 2.1 offers. At that point, you need to make sure that the HDMI cable that you're going to get is an HDMI certified cable. And this is how you can find out if it's a legit HDMI certified cable. Any HDMI cable that you buy that is HDMI 2.1 compatible, that is certified, is going to have this sticker. It's going to have a QR code that you can scan to make sure that it's legit. So I guess the next question is, what TVs support 48 gigabit per second data transfers? Well, as of right now, as of this minute that I'm shooting this video, which is towards the end of February 2022, we don't have any TVs in the market that support 48 gigabits per second yet. But LG is about to release their newest OLED TV. The LG C2 and G2 will actually support HDMI 2.1 48 gigabits per second. As of this moment, I know this is the only TV that is going to be fully compatible with the full bandwidth of data transfers that HDMI 2.1 supports. A little caveat there is that the newest consoles, being Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and the PS5, do not support 48 gigabit per second data transfers. So as of right now, there isn't any devices that will be able to take full advantage of the 48 gigabits per second. But of course, this allows you to be future-proof if there's ever any update on these consoles or any other device that fully is capable of doing 48 gigabit per second data transfer. So it's a good thing to have, I guess, and a good thing to know if you did not have this information before. If you're looking for information on the differences between HDMI ARC and HDMI eARC, hopefully this video did it for you. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section. That is it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.